Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode. All right, so just had the tough meeting with the staff. Normally we go an hour. We went about 30 minutes, and then afterwards caught up with the one manager on hand. Since only one person was able to be in person. Going in, I was anticipating it to be hey, the studio's closing end of month. But I realized, I don't know that with absolute certainty. So rather than saying, hey, I'm closing the doors, I told everyone, hey, just for context, here's the history of the business side of the studio. Here's how we wrapped up last month, and here's the cash decisions that I have to make. I can do payroll or rent or my loan payment. And I'm picking payroll, always picking payroll. That's going to happen no matter what. And I've made promises to you individually about what I can do for you in your situation. I'm going to follow through on that. Even if I have to do something, I'm going to do it right. As for the business, here is where we're at now. Here's what we're going to be at next month. And I don't know what happens when I'm 2 months behind on my rent payment. I don't know what happens. When I'm 2 months behind on my loan payment, I don't know what happens. I'm talking with corporate today, and I'm being cards open with them. And so ultimately they get the veto decision on what happens. But I'm letting you all know that it's time to buckle up, because this is uncharted territory. We have an instructor training this Saturday. We're going to proceed unless something dramatic happens. We have our 10-week party next week. We're going to proceed unless something dramatic happens. But I want you all to know before the removal happens. And I started the call with hey, I'm asking, this is confidential. Nobody knows. Only the people on this Zoom. Nobody else has to know. And nobody should know, because I'm asking you to keep this confidential. So I'm not telling anyone. I know I'm not going to share it with anyone. So if word gets out, I know where it came from. It's someone on my staff. But you trust and you hope. And you hope people follow through. And I bet they will. The staff has to reconnect mid this week after I get in talks with corporate. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to talk with corporate. The ball is now on corporate's court as to what happens here. They could yank the license from me. They could find a random footnote, yank the license from me. Nathan is now kicked to the curb and out of luck. They could offer to buy it for $10,000, and I say, sorry, I paid $505. I can't take a $10,000 for it. And they say, well, when you're closing the doors, you have to take the highest and best. We're the highest and best, so screw you, Nathan. I don't know. I don't know if that's a possibility. I haven't read my 300, 400-page FDD. I've looked for buzzwords, but I don't know. So I'm going to have to find out from that side. What else have I done? Afterwards, the stuff that the staff reiterated, which is helpful to be reminded of. Take care of the staff. Take care of the members. Everything beyond that is kind of gravy. And so if Nathan's just going to be leaving the picture, the club can stay open, that's a good scenario. And so I was reminded, I don't know if it's something that I could do or not, but to reach out to competitors and say, hey, I'm secretly trying to help my members with something. I have a studio that's closing. I'm trying to figure out where to refer all of them to. What can you do for a new member orientation if I put your name in front of 250 people looking for a membership? That's a valuable thing. I can do that. Only one person owns the studio, not 10 people. That's something I don't want to delegate. I can network in my sphere. The staff was very gracious. It was a very somber moment. Everyone's heads are spinning and reeling, and that's okay. I'm not expecting anyone to have the right answer. The best I can do is to be honest, state the facts, try to help people land as smoothly as possible, and do right as far as I can do right. And I'm not going to stress beyond that. So, I don't have the words to say. I think out loud. That's why I do this podcast. I think out loud. And this is an outlet for me to release the pressure and to help you make better decisions. I might be making the backwards decision right now. And if I'm going to make that decision, let's broadcast that for everyone to hear so that you know how not to do this. If I make the best decision and this was the right call, I want you to make the same decision if it's in the right same context, so that people can do business right. I think that's something we're missing in this world. It's a very cutthroat, me versus everyone world, and sometimes you gotta trust and get your heart broken. And I'm opening myself up for heartbreak, so do right by the members, do right by the staff. I'm gonna take, using a football analogy, American football, I'm going to take the ball to the 10-yard line. Corporate decides how it goes over the line. And that's what we're going to do. So, yeah, that's where we're at, really. That's where we're going. Let's rock and roll. This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.